Second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next, discussion on right to know request.
Yeah, I get right to know request. Thought it'd be instructive to inform the board and public with the right to know requests that we've been getting. This is for the data for the last 3 years, for the last 2.5 years. The legal expenses, we are not staffed to assess all the matters that are required for right to know. And I view the issue as a potential litigation issue, so I'd rather have the solicitor's office do all that work. They have done it, and this year has been an extraordinary year with 126 requests. This is through the end of June, and as the issue of giving the 30-day request, that is why the 30-day extensions are there. The other reason is I don't want to treat somebody differently. I don't want to have an issue. Why did I gave my request yesterday or 3 days ago? He gave his request today. He's getting an answer today. Why do I have to wait? I don't want to have that conversation. Unfortunately, everybody gets treated the same. They get their 30-day letter. When we get it, the information, we give it at the 30th day. Sometimes it's a little sooner, but most of the times it's the 30th day. Sometimes the work that we do to provide the information requested takes 30 days. And that is why, we're at this point in time. I have no problem giving the information. It's just a process. I'm sorry to say that's where we are today.
Any comments from the board?
Yeah. Hesitate to ask this question, but would it be too complicated to have classifications? Like one which is something that's in office that is one single page versus something that's complex?
Well, some of the most common request is for property transfers. So it requires going through the property file and,
which would be complex.
But that is the most common request we get because we're having a lot of, real estate transfers. There are requests for meeting minutes or videos and stuff like that, and believe it or not, that is not an easy task to accomplish getting from A to B because just the way the things are in the office. But the primary issue is really the property file requests with the turnover, and that just takes time. And it takes, the staff time to get the information. We give it to the attorney because some of the information is confidential and shouldn't go out. And we're not prepared to make that determination. So that's why it goes to the solicitor's office.
And then when there's more in-depth requests, we have to hire outside paralegals, things like that. What can those cost? What's a range on those?
The solicitor's office has the fees. I think they were 200.
Well, there's what you're looking at what it is, but the Right to Know Act has 30 exceptions to it too. So there's certain things. Sometimes when you're producing information, you have to make sure you redact some information from it. There's certain information that cannot be disclosed in response to a Right to Know request. So
this is 21 a month. How
a lot.
Many hours are we looking at?
Well,
on average.
You can look at it right there. Some of them are more complicated. We had a request recently where there was a request that was submitted regarding the board had approved the destruction of certain documents. And there was a request that came in after that. We had to have a couple people come up here and review the documents and redact whatever was necessary on an expedited schedule. So that was expensive. But most of the if something comes in though regarding the transfer of property files, that's pretty routine. So that's not something that will take a lot of time. So 126 requests, 50,000. We haven't had any real appeals this year. The reason why you see in the other years there were a couple of appeals we had, which thankfully for us we were successful on, but that's why you'd have more expense. I don't know how to answer it. Other than that, each request is different. Some requests require a lot of work, some don't. But the 30-day extension, typically if we get a request sent to us, one of my colleagues will call over to the office and say, do you have the staff to respond within 5 days? That's usually the first question I have them ask. And if the answer is no, then we have to send out a letter because they're saying they don't have, that the administration's telling us we don't have the staffing level to respond within 30 days, or within the 5 days, excuse me, then we have to invoke the extension. So if that's the message I get, then, what we do is invoke the extension, and we work, my colleagues work with the administration to respond. But I can't sit here and say that, each request is 2 hours, because some would probably be, much less than that. And it's an attorney time, I can't speak to the administration.
Well,
We don't produce, my office isn't ferreting through the files to produce what's responsive unless there's a question of privilege or some sort of confidentiality.
Right, so we're saying this is only $51,000 for in legal fees. It doesn't take into account the staff
That's
time,
correct.
the staff
That's fine.
cost, et cetera.
Well, and like when you guys had to come up because we're gonna destroy the documents and then, so how much did that cost? In legal fees?
It would be in the file. I mean, my recollection was that expense was about $10,000, yeah. But that would be,
That is big.
no, it's within,
No, it's not in there.
no, it is.
It's not in there.
It should be within the 50, I think, John. That's not.
Because we didn't get the bill.
I was gonna say, wasn't that one
Okay.
more recent?
It is in the, it's in the 50.
I thought it
It's
was.
about $8,400.
Okay, there you go. There's the,
Sorry, I thought it was out there.
Yeah.
My mistake.
Is there a feel for how many of the, say, 126 or anything up there could have been avoided? I mean, not filing a right to know, just with a conversation. So.
That's part of the reason why we spent this time working on the website, right? So the more we can put out on the website, the more people can access this information
Yeah,
on
the point
there.
of it
We
was-
had an older website,
Lousy
we weren't able to
website.
store the documentation on there. We also didn't have the server capacity to store what you're asking for at times. So as we progress, we increase on our IT, we increase our website, we'll have the ability to offer more of those things up front, so people won't have to put a right to know request in.
Yeah, so I think the website helps us with people knowing how to use a computer to be able to get this data.
Or is there a protocol, like someone should first call and ask if it's just available before?
Or how
Filing.
to access it now?
Part of the reason why Laurie did her presentation today was in hopes of being able to educate not only the board, but the entire community on what might be available for them to seek out first. This will be a training process for all of us. It's a brand new website, so it'll take time. As people call in or stop by, we can help and say, hey, did you know this was already on the website? And references will be made in the right to know request to let people know that they can find this in the future there. We certainly don't want to stop anybody from using their rights to file a right to know. Certainly can open those at any time. We're just trying to make it faster for everybody to response time.
And, maybe people don't know, a right to know, it's not like you can create a document. You have to find an existing document to provide the answer.
well, if I'm understanding your question, the way the right to know law works is somebody submits a request for a specific document, you produce the document that you have that's responsive to that, assuming it's not subject to some privilege or some other requirement that you maintain its confidentiality. It's not something like if you're in a lawsuit, we have these things called interrogatories where somebody sends you a list of questions, you have to respond and create a document to respond. That's not the right to know law. The right to know law does not require you to generate documents. You have to produce what you have. That's what.
Right, that's what I was getting at, yes.
Any other comments from the board? David, did you want to make a comment on right to know? Name and address?
David Hughes, 255 West 27th Street. Okay, so I've heard all the excuses for not being able to meet the requirements. As you know, you have a 5-day period to produce the documents that are requested, and then you can extend it 30 days. It's been my experience, and I've probably submitted about 30 of those requests, and every single one of them I had to wait 35 days, except for one. And that was because you were going to destroy the documents on a Friday when you announced it on a Monday. I submitted the request on Tuesday. You sent me originally a response that I would have to wait 35 days. Then you realized, oh, we want to destroy these on Friday. So then you rescinded that and said, well, you could come in and look at them in 2 days. So you have the ability to respond to RTKs very quickly, okay? Also, one of my requests, it's a very simple request. I wanted to see all your statement of financial interests. They should be in one folder. I can come into this room, you can bring up the folder, I can look at it, I can ask you to make copies for ones that I would like, or I can copy them from my phone alone. This would only take a few minutes, but I've got to wait 35 days to see the statement of financial interests, okay? And there's a lot of other requests that could be shorter. Mr. Granger says, well, I want to be fair to everyone, so I'm going to make everyone wait 35 days. That's another ridiculous comment. Like Mr. Cortez said, everything is different. Some of them may be 5 days, some of them may be 10 days. So if you give a 30-day letter, maybe that thing is filled in 15 days, maybe 7 days. But you guys make it wait till 35 days. And the one request that came in, the first one that I ever got was on April 1st, perfect day. And I came in, it was due that day, so that means it should have been ready when I came into the office, but you guys said, you gotta wait till 4:30. It should be ready on the day that it should be available by the law, not telling me that, well, it's ready, but it's not ready, but we'll have it for you at 4:30. So if it's 30 days, and I come in on the 31st day, it should already be there for me to pick up, whether I come in when you first open up, or in the afternoon, or in the evening. Mr. Granger is the right-to-know officer. It's his responsibility, if he doesn't have enough resources to fulfill it in a timely manner, he should hire someone to do it. He's also, the township manager, you're the secretary, you're the treasurer, you're the chief administrative officer, you have the police department work for you, report to you.
It's called being a township manager, sir.
Yeah, so did I miss anything? He's the
Township manager. Imagine that.
You need to take away some of his duties so that he can do the rest of them properly. So maybe we need another RTK officer or hire someone. According to the state statutes, it's the supervisor's responsibility to make sure that the township is staffed properly to provide the services. So you should look into this, perhaps change who's the RTK officer or hire someone to help out.
All right, thank you, sir.
One thing I would say is if anyone feels there's been any non-compliance with the, and this should be in any letter that you receive with the Right to Know Act, you have the opportunity to appeal that non-compliance through the Office of Open Records. I will say that in our tenure, at least my tenure as a solicitor, we've never had one appeal. We've had appeals taken, we've never had one that we've lost. So I'm not aware of any non-compliance, and certainly I do not want there to be any non-compliance. If there's anything I can do to help, feel free to send me an email, but you always have the avenue of reaching out to the Office of Open Records if you feel that the township's doing something inappropriately. And that's the way the whole scheme's set up.
Makes sense.